Greetings everyone! Today we are going to learn about The Shepherd's Treasure, Chapter 3 of An Alien Hand. In a village in Iran there once lived a shepherd. He was very poor. He did not have even a small cottage of his own. He had never been to school or learned to read and write, for there were very few schools in those days. Though poor and uneducated, this shepherd was very wise. He understood people's sorrows and troubles and helped them face their problems with courage and common sense. Many people came to him for advice. Soon he became famous for his wisdom and friendly nature. The king of that country heard about him and thought of meeting him. Iran ramat hingtlang pakhata hian biram enkol du pakhat ri thei tak mai lekha po thiam lem lo hi a oma chutyang nima se mi khongai thei tak fingle mi ngai nat om tak ani thunga a fin zia chu an ramalal ber chuan alo sha chuan midang lema changin chu biram pu mutur chuan a kal ta wanga. Disguised as a shepherd and riding on a mule, one day the king came to the cave where the wise shepherd lived. As soon as the shepherd saw the traveler coming towards the cave, he rose to welcome him. He took the tired traveler inside the cave, gave him water to drink and a share of his own meager meal. The king rested for the night in the cave and was greatly impressed by the shepherd's hospitality and wise conversation. Zing alaunia Tiswan lalpa chu sabeng tungchunga chuangin berampu omna lam chu apan tawangwanga berampu ina hmu vele chuan alo bevata tui intura pek baka achu eitur tlem ane chhun chu apeveta a lalpa chu zana riak ngala chu berampu chuan alo enkol dana chuan hlim em maya. Though still tired, the king decided to depart the next morning. He said, "Many thanks for your kindness to a poor traveler. I have a long way to go. Permit me to live." Looking straight into the eyes of his guest, the shepherd replied, "Thank you, your majesty, for paying me the compliment of a visit." The king was astonished as well as pleased. He is indeed very wise, he thought to himself. I need people like him to work for me. And the king appointed this humble shepherd the governor of a small district. Zingalo niya lalpa chu a hodo na chuan kimire theitak chunga thati chua wangin kalom hle mai kakal mai tange atia kalome lalpa min lo tlu awangin atita dai maya berampu chuan lalpa chuan makati in lema changchung puwa tungi ani asya chu afinga ti hle maya khopakhata governor ni turin na apeta hlau maya avane hle ani. Although he rose to power and dignity, the shepherd remained as humble as ever. People loved and honored him for his wisdom, sympathy, and goodness. He was kind and just to one and all. His fame as a fair and wise governor soon spread throughout the country. Now the governors of other provinces grew terribly jealous of him and began to talk to the king against him. They said, "He is very dishonest and keeps for himself part of the money that he collects as tax from the people. Why did he always carry with him," they added, "an iron chest? Perhaps he carried in it the treasure that he had secretly collected." After all, they said mockingly, he was an ordinary shepherd and could behave no better. Natratak ni ma se at sapaw ngay lova, tay mali rin tagina ti tura ti chinawangin mi nga isan at lohlea, ma se an nathopuy tiswan ang tik ta maya, do tinan heka, at siya konti hi at le profo chinti in lalpahne na anzwal kova, bom ti ang hi akal na piya nga akhay siya, apoy sa turog na aningeyang, ma se anitsu berampu may maya niya, at ti omang vela ni ti inan musit ema. At first, the king did not pay attention to these reports, but how long could he ignore these governors and their endless stories about the shepherd? One thing was certain, the king discovered the new governor did carry an iron chest with him all the time. So one day, the governor was summoned to the palace. He came riding on his camel, and to everyone's delight, the famous iron chest was there fastened securely behind him on the camel's back. Now the king was angry. He thundered, "Why do you always carry that iron chest with you? What does it contain?" The governor smiled. He asked his servant to bring in the chest. How eagerly the people standing around waited for the shepherd to be found out, but how great was their astonishment, and even of the king himself, when the chest was opened. No gold or silver or jewels, but an old blanket was all that came out. Holding it up proudly, the shepherd said, This, my dear master, is my only treasure. I always carry it with me. Lal chuan abom khai chu an en chuan rangkachak le thi le ngun vela be se lain rezai te hlui ve deuh to pakhat hi alo oma inga tinge ken kwala tia a han zo chuan lalpa ki hei hi ka nei chhun ania. But why do you always carry such an ordinary blanket with you? Surely you are the governor of a district, the king asked. To which the shepherd replied with quiet dignity, This, my blanket, is my oldest friend. It will still protect me at any time your majesty should wish to take away my new clothes. How pleased the king was, and how embarrassed the jealous governors became to hear the wise man's reply. Now they knew that the shepherd was indeed the humblest and the wisest man in the land. The king made him the governor of a much bigger district that very day. Lalpa hebom chunga hianin ka rizaya oma kapuan sinla hi min laklak sakve kani po in ka rizai hi chu min tuam lum tuam chunani don thau thawani atia chu chuan lalpa chu ati lom ema wangin chu ni la la chuanin ramlian jok enkol tu thunei tu atan ada ta lau mai ani. From this story, we learned that no matter what position we are, we should be humble, honest, and faithful in everything we do, and that will surely give us a good reward. Engdin huna po dingila rin takin kan na kan thok tur ania kan sapo tur anilava e ruk le hle pruk phet kan tum tur anilava tin mi chunga chat kan chwa cheu tur ani. That's it for today. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a good day.